The two women in the video caught the attention of the police. At the hotel on July 28, 2010, security footage from the second floor hallway showed that at 22:12, a woman in a purple top with black pants and a woman in a pink top with black pants hurrying back to the room on the right at the end of corridor. Only 7 minutes later, the two women changed their clothes and came out of the room with their luggage and checked it out at the hotel's front desk. The strange thing was that the woman in the hat kept her hands over her face. 23 seconds later, another woman came to the front desk and grazed before leaving. 22:22. After checking out, the woman also left. It took only 10 minutes for two of them to go back to the store to change their clothes, pack their luggage and check out. The two women were indeed very fashionable in their attire. But how did a wealthy businessman's wife from Hong Kong end up in such a modest street hotel? Besides, it was night time, and one of them was wearing a hat and covering her face all the time. It seemed strange at all times. In fact, these two people are not any Hong Kong businessman's wife. They fell in the ID card straight when they checked in Bengbu City in Anhui Province. Less than an hour before they left the hotel, the two women put off a scam. Zhang Xiaoli, 20 years old, worked alone in Shijiazhuang after graduating a junior college. Now is a pharmaceutical factory staff in Shijiazhuang City. After several years of struggled life, pain and comfortable. But at 8 p.m. on July 28, 2010, she experienced an event what was enough to remember her whole life.
When I was about to cross the street after work that night, across the street came two personally dressed women who claimed to be from Hong Kong.
They asked Zhang Xiaoli for directions, got a reply and did not leave, and asked Zhang Xiaoli another question.
Asked me where I could apply for a bank card. At that time, it was more than 8 p.m., the banks were closed, and I told them that they could not apply for bank cards now.
At that time, the two so-called Hong Kong businesswomen said that they had come to Shijiazhuang to discuss business, but had an accident.
Because of the accident, they spent all their money on compensation, so now they have no cash at all. They only have their bank cards in Hong Kong, but they can't use them in the mainland, so they hope I can help them. They showed me their bank cards. They were all in English. I couldn't understand them.
This is a trap. This step is to cheat Zhang Xiaoli's sympathy. We had no money in a car accident, which instantly aroused a strange girl's sense of responsibility. They are bound to Zhang Xiaoli.
They asked if they could borrow my bank card. They also said that once the money arrived, they would give me several thousand yuan as a reward.
As long as the money in Zhang Xiaoli's bank card transfer sounds no risk, and there is a rich reward. Zhang Xiaoli felt that as long as the card in her own hands, there is no danger, so she agreed to the rich woman's request.
This step is very tempting. They said they just borrow the bank card and transfer in, and the reward of several thousand yuan is like a big pie in the sky.
They said their cell phones were out of power and they asked me to borrow them. They needed to contact their family members to transfer the money to my bank card.
Zhang Xiaoli felt that his two rich businessman wives were really unlucky, so she took out the mobile phone and gave it to them, and she waited beside it. The call ended. The two women told Zhang that their families would call the money right away, and they would have to wait a few minutes. They wanted to know how much money was in Zhang's bank card first, so as not to withdraw Zhang's money. The two women are so open and thoughtful that Zhang Xiaoli certainly won't refuse. The three of them walked to a nearby bank machine and checked the amount in the card. The total was 17,900 yuan. A few minutes later, Zhang and the two women went to the ATM again.
The money didn't arrive.
Zhang Xiaoli thought Hong Kong may not move so fast. Wait a few minutes. More than 10 minutes later, she checked again. The money still did not arrive.
I don't know what happened. They said it was slow because they had to cross provinces, regions, and banks. I checked every few minutes, but the money didn't arrive for half an hour.
Zhang Xiaoli was a little worried. At this time, the two people had a few proposals.
They asked if they could change to a bigger bank, because the transfer amount is large, And maybe the small bank does not have enough money to withdraw. Then I followed them to a bigger bank.
The bank surveillance video recorded the following scene at 21:09 on July 28, 2010. Zhang Xiaoli and a woman went into a self-service bank one after the other. The woman stopped at the door, and Zhang Xiaoli went to a cash machine to take out the card from her bag. When Zhang took out her bank card to check, the woman turned and walked out of the self-service bank. She was 5 or 6 meters away and seemed to be waiting to inquire and wait. Nearly 50 minutes of time has passed. The remittance has not arrived. At 9:30 p.m., Zhang received a call from her roommate, urging her to go home.
Because I have something to deal with and it takes too long. I want to leave.
Hearing that Zhang Xiaoli was leaving, the two women immediately expressed their embarrassment.
They said the money would arrive soon. How could you leave with our money? How can we get our money back?
Zhang Xiaoli also felt that it was wrong for her to live like this.
This is the most technical part of the whole scam. If I asked you directly for your bank card, you wouldn't want to give it to me. But I have already transferred the money to your bank card. What will happen to my money if you don't give me my bank card?
Then the two women put forward a suggestion. Tonight they keep Zhang Xiaoli's bank card because they do not know the password. The money inside is safe, so Zhang Xiaoli agreed to give them the bank card. The two sides agreed to withdraw the money together the next morning. Zhang Xiaoli left. So what will happen next? Let's take a look at a surveillance video of another bank cash machine. At 9:24 p.m., in front of a cash machine in Qixi District, Shijiazhuang City, a woman dressed in purple, covering her face with one hand, rushed to the cash machine. Behind her, a woman in pink follows and stops to the right of the woman in purple and carefully walks back and forth, avoiding her face from the camera directly above the ATM. The woman in purple inserts a card into a cash machine with one hand covering her face. After withdrawing the money, she quickly hands it to the woman in pink, who puts it into her purse. As the purple woman continues to operate again from the card to take money, pass money, the pink woman to collect money, from time to time to look around, take 8 times after they finally stopped the action. At 21:38, the purple woman withdrew from the bank card. 2 people disappeared into the night. Zhang Xiaoli bank card, 17,900 yuan, were all taken away by them. At this time, everyone may have a question. How did they get this bank card password? The truth was revealed after the 2 women were arrested. Zhang Xiaoli was on her way home in the taxi, chatting with the driver about what had just happened.
The driver said you must have been cheated.
Zhang Xiaoli was very nervous. She immediately asked the driver to turn around and drive back to the place where they broke up. The 2 wives of Hong Kong businessmen had already disappeared. Zhang immediately reported the incident to police in Qiaoxi district of Shijiazhuang City, who carefully checked the hotel near the site. The 2 suspects were locked down.
The next day, Zhang Xiaoli identified the 2 people in the surveillance as the criminals. We contacted the Anhui Provincial Police, who persuaded the families of the 2 criminals to turn themselves in. Knowing there was no escape, the 2 men turned themselves in voluntarily.
Liu Yanyan, 32 years old, a farmer in Bengbu, Anhui Province. She was convicted of theft in August 2009 in Changsha, Hunan Province, in which Liu was the main culprit. Zhang Yumei, 31 years old, is also a farmer from Bengbu City in Anhui Province. So how did they know the password to Zhang's bank card? Very simple, picking. That night, Zhang Xiaoli took the 2 suspects in different locations of different ATMs to check whether the money has been received. In the first few inquiries, the suspect deliberately hid in the distance. But later, when Zhang's guard was down, they took the opportunity to peek behind Zhang's back and enter the password. The 2 suspects returned 17,900 yuan that Zhang Xiaoli lost.
Liu Yanyan has a history of theft and can be severely punished according to the law.
The defendant, Liu Yanyan, was sentenced to 9 months in prison for fraud and fined 50,000 yuan. Defendant Zhang Yumei was sentenced to 7 months imprisonment for fraud. She was suspended for 1 year and fined 50,000 yuan. The two women confessed to the crimes they had committed.